What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hardwood Convos podcast here on the 515 Podcast Network. I'm Brock Bierman alongside Hunter Rose, recording here late on a Monday night. The Warriors game is going on, or I guess Warriors and Timberwolves game. Game 4, Minnesota leads that series 2-1, but the Warriors currently have a 3-point lead as we get close to the end of the first quarter. 28-25 is that score. We'll see how well that ages when we actually post this podcast. But honestly, that probably won't, no matter what happens in that game, will not lead the headlines tomorrow in terms of the sporting news. And it's not even really the result of the game that we're probably going to be talking a lot about as well. It's more about the late injury, unfortunate for the Boston Celtics, Jayson Tatum. I mean, Hunter, you and I talked about this before we started recording, but when you watch a lot of NBA basketball, you kind of just know when someone tore their Achilles, and he reacted worse than some athletes who I have seen tear their Achilles. So there's no way it's a rolled ankle. If it's a rolled ankle of some sort, good Lord, he must have rolled it, and I didn't even see it move. Like, it was so quick that, like, yeah, it's just bad. And a terrible situation, too, because mentally, I, as a Celtics fan, was kind of already like, okay, this game's over. And then that happens. I sent a text to someone of a video of Baker Mayfield doing during Hard Knocks or whatever, when Cleveland had their Hard Knocks season. And first, I led into like this huge thing. It was like Celtics blow another 14-plus point lead in the second half. I lost all hope, and then I see Jayson Tatum tear his Achilles. And it's a video of Baker Mayfield just. I'm not going to curse, but it's just one word, 4 letters, but it's not even like angry or showing any emotion. It's just like you can tell that Baker in that video has been through like emotional trauma of some sort. That's what it felt like when Tatum tore his ACL for me. It was just like, well, I guess just added on to this game, I guess. I usually, Hunter, and everybody that listens knows that we kind of just ask how we're doing. So I apologize for kind of skipping over that. But how are you doing, Hunter?
Dude, I'm living life. You know, I was doing okay, all things considered, in the NBA world. And then Shams decided to just be an absolute idiot at 7:47 this morning, put out an absolute nothing burger of a think piece. But because you have to pay to read it, everyone who did not pay to read it just sees the headline and immediately goes to the trade machines. Because let me tell you, you read that article about Giannis leaving, and there is no news in there. There's absolutely nothing in there.
It's just all hypothetical.
And then literally just like when he adds his own thoughts, it's like, yeah, Giannis could leave if he asks to, but he could also stay if he really wanted to.
That's why he can't be the next. He's not Woj. He will never be Woj.
Just like, dude, just stop. Like the breaking news, like brand new headline for the first time in his career. No, y'all have been making these think pieces since 2019. Okay, about Giannis leaving. I'm sick of it. It's so annoying.
Only thing that's been more consistent is Miles Turner and the trade rumors over and over again.
Honestly, dude.
And Miles Turner's still in Indianapolis, so
he's still there, dude. I don't get
it. And that's another thing, and we can get into the Giannis thing. But I'll say this real quick about that situation. I don't know if he's ever made it clear that he wants out, nor why did everybody just assume that, oh, they lost, it's over, like it's time to wrap it up. And that's the one thing about the NBA that kind of sucks is the quick turnover certain teams have. Like Boston, and we can get into this Boston situation here, they're going to have a big turnover this offseason in terms of retirements, players who are going to just get moved on in terms of free agency and potentially trades as well, because this didn't work out. Their title defense didn't work out. And I know that, like, it's hard to explain people who don't pay attention to the NBA at all. But I truly do believe that there is a lot of parity in this league in terms of, if you look at the there hasn't been a back-to-back champion since KD's Warriors. No, I guess KD and Curry's Warriors. And when I tell people there's a lot of parity in the NBA, they're like, well, yeah, but you usually know who's going to win it. I'm like, part of me is like, I can agree with that sometimes because usually the at least one of the top two teams makes the finals. Not in terms of seeding, but just in terms of like what people expect going into the into the playoffs. Yeah. So like from my perspective, and Hunter, maybe you had a different perspective heading into the playoffs, but Boston and Oklahoma City were probably the two best teams, even though Boston was the second seed. So at least one of those two teams would make it. The odds of them actually ending up pulling it out and winning the title is another story. So I personally think there is a lot of parity in this league, and I think this playoff specifically is showing that in terms of Indianapolis is all of a sudden a really good team. Cleveland looks lost. Obviously, injuries have affected that. New York has been able to take another step after not being able to beat Boston, Cleveland, or Oklahoma City in the regular season. Yeah. And then you got the Warriors still finding a way to keep any kind of momentum or hope of a deep run. And, of course, Curry getting hurt last week is a big issue for them. And then you got Oklahoma City and Denver. And all of a sudden, Denver, who fired their coach, they fired their coach 2 weeks or so before the playoffs. Crazy. And they have a competitive series, a competitive series against arguably one of the best constructed teams the NBA has seen in a long time.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, heck, even think about like college basketball. It's like you could honestly argue college basketball is the same thing every year because it's like oh, everyone's gonna pick Duke, everyone's gonna pick the Blue Bloods, right? But it's like nobody talks about that because there's still an entire playoff bracket, and like that's what we see time and time again. Well, I would kind of time and time again, especially this season though, of just like, oh man, like these are some crazy series, It's like, heck, I think, what series was it? Is it I think it was obviously OKC. It's probably is up, but like, heck, like their games were so close. Like if Aaron Gordon didn't exist, they might already have won at this point. Like the series could literally be over, except dude turned into prime Kobe and had to bail out the Jokic stands. But yeah, I think I'd agree. I think especially like post the the classic Curry LeBron era, incredible parity in the league.
Yeah, I mean that 2019 Warriors team that lost to the Raptors, I feel like was one of the first, like it was the start of a new era. That Warriors franchise, that dynasty, I guess. 22 is a part of the dynasty, obviously, but when you look at it, the Warriors are the last team to make it to the playoffs in consecutive years, and that was, they did it from 2015 to 2019. But since then, there hasn't been a team that's made it back the year after, whether they won or lost. So it's been great. Yes, we've seen teams make multiple appearances in the 2020s. Boston, Miami have both made multiple appearances. Denver's competing for their second finals appearance in 3 years. So while that is true, we haven't had a repeat champion and we haven't had a repeat team in consecutive years in terms of appearances or wins in the finals. So when people say it's predictable, all this stuff, well, yeah, usually in any league, there's a good chance that the teams that are expected to win end up winning. No. But okay, complain, I guess. Like everybody and their mom were on the University of Florida to win the national championship in basketball this year before the tournament started. Like when the bracket got released, I'm pretty sure everyone except for like maybe 2 or 3 personalities on TV were like, Florida's going to win. They're the best team.
Yep.
So,
and then we also had 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. So there you go.
Yeah,
all you
no parity.
NBA haters.
And I think it's because we get a little bit blessed sometimes with the amazing matchups in the NFL. because I do think the NFL playoffs can be really fun, especially from the AFC side, just because that's a complete chaos.
And it being one and done. Like, you show up, you got 60 minutes to move on, and that's it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, even this year, I think that this is a good example of the future of what the Eastern Conference could look like, too.
Don't say that. No.
You don't think so?
No. Don't you dare. I am not considering the Indiana Pacers being the future of the Eastern Conference. It's not happening, Brock. I will not allow it.
I didn't say necessarily Indiana,
No. But I knew what was going on in your head. I won't stand for it. Forget the Boston media. It's the Indiana media now.
Of course it.
Between Caitlin Clark and Tyrese Halliburton, I might have to stop watching basketball. Like, it might be over for me.
You didn't watch the beatdown that Caitlin had against Brazil.
Thank goodness,
national team.
Gosh.
The upcharge on tickets because it was the most expensive preseason ticket that you'll ever find, just because it was in Iowa City.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
But this is coming from someone that watches women's basketball. I can't wait to get flamed online, even though people.
Basketball's basketball, you know. I can't say I'm a partaker, but I can't sit here and disrespect it either.
Yeah,
I'll disrespect players. I'll always do that. I'm always a hater first, basketball lover second, 100%.
I mean, if people flame me for making fun of that preseason game in Iowa City, like you can back me up. I have been watching women's basketball way before Caitlin Clark was even in high school. So
that is true.
When it was layup contests.
Let's go.
But, obviously the game that we're probably going to highlight the most, being that we're recording here on a Monday night, Knicks and Celtics, 121-113. Knicks improved to a 3-1 lead. Obviously, Jayson Tatum looks like he's not going to be playing the rest of this series, nor do I think he'll be playing next year because of how late into the year we are and how long of a – we've had this conversation with Damian Lillard, how long it takes to recover from an Achilles tear. So what were your thoughts? I don't know how much of this game that you actually ended up seeing or highlights. Tatum did end up with 42 and 8 rebounds and then 4 steals as well. But Jalen Brunson also had 39 points, 12 assists, able to help the Knicks have another double-digit comeback in the second half against the Boston Celtics to get the win. So, what were your thoughts on the whole game as a whole?
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch the game. I was actually blowing up myself, but I was keeping up with the score as it was going on. And I think what kind of sucked the most about Tatum's injury is like he definitely he showed out. Like he did what the superstar is supposed to do when your back's against the wall, and then that happens. So that is not fun to watch or see. But yeah, I think it's been overall though, like with the series itself, the Knicks' ability to come back, I really don't understand it. I don't know. Like,
it's crazy.
I think what's so mind-boggling too is like, so there's all these 2 20-point comebacks, and then their double-digit comeback tonight. This is all from a Tom Thibodeau coach team, which means they're making these comebacks after playing 40 minutes every single. Like, how are you not gassed? Like down by 20.
I really think it's going to come back and bite them at some point.
Like, there's no way. There's actually no way.
That's the first time ever I may have seen a Tom Thibodeau coach team be on the same court as someone that just tore their Achilles or tore something in general. Because usually it's his teams that have the issue.
But yeah, I mean, their ability to, like just tonight, even seeing like 54% from the field, 3-pointers, pretty iffy. But like, especially when you have your top guys like being able to shoot effectively from deep. You have Jalen Brunson, who went 50% from 3-point range. OG, who's played pretty well, honestly.
Yeah,
50%.
He's been the X factor for them, especially against the Celtics. Him and Bridges. I mean, Brunson's going to do what Brunson does. It's just those other guys have taken them to a whole nother level.
Exactly. And then heck, then you have. I mean, he's not. In my opinion, he's not like terrific, but like Cat will do his thing. So big purr. He's gonna keep doing his thing. So it's like, it just seems like at any given moment, like the way that they're playing as a team right now, somebody can have an off night and they will still be able to show up, which is huge.
What the Celtics had last year with healthy Porzingis. Derek White had an unbelievable game tonight. Finished with 23 points. But at one point, I think he was 4 of 4 or 5 of 5 from 3-point range.
Bro just launched his threes. That's crazy.
He's a sharpshooter, dude. He may be one of the most underrated 3-point shooters I've seen, just because his shot just looks so clean that it's like every time you think it's nothing but net. Because and that's another thing. He's not a player that like really rattles in any shots. It's pretty much back of the rim, back of the rim. But his efforts, Jaylen Brown struggled. He did have 20 points, 7 rebounds, but 7 of 16 from the field. And then, age is starting to catch up with some of these Celtics players. Drew Holiday and Al Horford kind of struggled. Horford's been battling though. He's one of the more underappreciated players in terms of like just the physicality and the effort that he brings to each and every game. I don't know if you saw this, but Cat got called for an offensive foul for elbowing Al Horford in the head earlier in the game. And I sent a text to our buddy Max Olson, and I was like, did he not watch what happened when Giannis elbowed Al in the head? So when the Celtics lose in game 5, but Al Horford just absolutely elbows Cat in the head, gives him a concussion.
Crazy.
It'll be worth it. But it'd be worth it. But but Drew Holiday, Al Horford, both are kind of showing their age. Drew Holiday's just kind of been dealing with a lot of injuries this year. Of course, you've understood what it's like for Drew Holiday to go through injuries. Last year, I felt like I got really lucky with him not really ever being hurt. Porzingis is not in any shape really to play basketball at a competitive level. He's been dealing with what has been called a non-COVID illness for months now, and they keep talking about his conditioning and everything, and he looks like he is just struggling moving up and down the court now when he's playing. Peyton Pritchard's got a bright future for sure. Obviously the NBA's most improved player this season, or I guess not most improved, 6th man of the year, and so we'll see where he's able to go. But sticking with the Celtics here, we can wrap this one up. I don't know how much we can really talk about this because it's all hypothetical. But assuming that this is it, whether they win a game or if they do what they did against Miami a couple of years ago, they make it all the way to a Game 7, and they still end up losing and the Knicks move on. In your opinion, from an outside perspective, what do you think the Celtics need to do, or what do you think the Celtics will do? Because it's Boston. It's championship or bust every year.
I think the big thing, especially given his conditioning, the most obvious number one need right now for the Celtics is going to be finding a big man, because Horford coming off a contract, he's going to be 39.
He's going to retire. I think he's done.
Who knows? According to my 2K sim, he will be going to the Pistons. He will not be done yet, but he will go to the Pistons.
Buy your Pistons stock.
Stop. But yeah, especially with how Porzingis is looking. I believe Porzingis' contract is up next year after the season. So it's like at this point, and I think Luke Cornett too. I'm pretty sure he's off his deal. They'll have to re-sign him. So it's like all of a sudden we have Keita and Xavier Tillman holding down the 5 right now. And Keita, there are some moments of the season. There's some moments. I don't know if you can rely on that. But you gotta find.
He's definitely a team that it's a matchup based
thing
for him.
Makes sense. But yeah, so I think that's probably the big one. It's just you got to find someone to put down low. Got to find a body. I think Horford's been so great because I mean, again, the Celtics just shoot an unbelievable amount of 3-pointers, and so when you have Al Horford, you can do that because you can, especially with his age, like it works out pretty well. You can kind of like be on the floor, do his defense, get down low down there, but then on offense, kind of do the old PJ Tucker and sink to the corner or go to the wing or something.
He is who PJ Tucker thinks he is.
Yeah, at least now. But yeah, I haven't looked too much at free agency yet, so I think based off of what I've seen, this is from the Bucks perspective looking. I don't know how many spacing bigs are going to be in the market for at least signing, which means option 2 would be to trade for a big man. And that is right now probably going to be a pretty hefty price. Big men are a tough thing to come by these days, or they're just
one
really
that
good.
Can space too.
Yeah,
in terms of one that would take you to a contendership at least.
Exactly. So I think that'll be interesting. But yeah, overall, I got the payroll pulled up here. So yeah, we got Al Horford, Luke Cornett, Torrey Craig. That's a big loss.
Oh gosh,
I don't know what you're gonna do without that.
Pack it up. It's over.
Yeah. So yeah,
honestly, I am curious. Is JD Davidson still in contract?
He has a team option, so they could. I don't know if they brought him back.
Him and JD Walsh him and Jordan Walsh are probably like going to be on the roster next year because Celtics aren't going to be contending next year if Tatum actually tore his Achilles.
Oh yeah, he'll be out for a bit. Yeah.
So give JD and Walsh an opportunity to prove themselves. And if it doesn't work, or if it does work, sell high kind of thing. You can either use them for capital or you can actually use them in the future in terms of what your roster will look like. There are a lot of big men who I know people claim that they're able to space the floor. And yeah, maybe they're able to shoot a 3 or 2, but like they don't make that huge X factor in terms of like how big of a deal their spacing or teams spacing on defense will have to be to defend them or whatever. Porzingis and Horford had that ability when they were both healthy. Unfortunately, that's just not a thing anymore. I mentioned this earlier. It sucks how quickly turnover does happen in the NBA.
Thank you, CJ McCollum. Shout out that guy for ruining the league.
Yep. But it's crappy saying this because he won Finals MVP next year. If they lose next game, do you think Jaylen Brown has played his last game with the Celtics? Because his contract is not great for the situation.
I would generally be shocked. I think especially like we don't know for sure, but if Jayson Tatum is out for the foreseeable future, I don't know. I personally don't think I would trade Jaylen Brown. And I think even if you do trade him, you wait. I would personally, if I'm the Celtics and I've decided I want to trade Jaylen Brown, I'm going to wait till the trade deadline because at the very least, you can hopefully improve his value a little bit as first option Jaylen Brown during the season. If that's the case,
or you can have it completely tanked too.
Yeah. But I would say stick around probably. That'd be my take.
Man, if this could have happened last year, we could be getting Cooper right now. But the NBA may have had a frozen envelope or something.
Yeah, instead we're rigged, so it doesn't matter. Although a white man in Boston would go crazy. That's all I'm saying. they might, if Boston were at position, they might have done something to make that happen. So I think you are onto something, Brock. If you guys would have done this last
year. Stop.
Coulda,
oh my gosh.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I do think it's funny. I don't know how many Celtics games. Did you get League Pass this year?
Yeah.
I don't know how many games you listened with Brian Scalabrine on the call, but he has been glazing Cooper Flagg for the longest, and all the games that I watched just happened to be games like the Wizards, the Raptors. He's like, oh, he'd be great here and all that because, just like every other analyst, I discovered Cooper Flagg before he
before he was big.
Yeah, before he was hit puberty or anything.
Yeah. When he was balling up in Maine, I was there.
Which I mean, I think out of all the people I think I've seen stuff that like Brian Scalabrine actually has like a legit connection of some sort. But I do think it's funny, like Jay Billis during the draft lottery. Let's get into the draft lottery. But Jay Billis was like, "Oh yeah, I mean I've known this guy before he was even known in Maine." Blah blah blah.
Dude, that changes diapers. I've been around forever.
It's just hilarious.
He was gonna be big when he was 2 years old.
But speaking of the lottery, the craziest is it the craziest lottery results in terms of
up there
what we were talking about for 3 months ago?
Who knew? If you would have told me this 3 or 4 months ago, I would have been I'd be like, what? Like, did Luka get hurt? Like, did they just tank? And now they have this, and instead, here we are. Like, oh, okay. Wow. Can't believe Nico Harrison just got the craziest bailout I've ever seen in my entire life. It is.
I texted our group chat. Is this the first time ever you've ever seen a lottery, like a sympathy lottery win for all the bullying that Nico got during the regular season?
It actually has to be. I'm trying to figure out if this was what do we think is the lowest chance, like the lowest percent chance somebody had at a number 1 pick and they ended up getting it. So I think I'm pretty sure this has got to be the first time since the play-in that like a team that competed for a spot got the first pick. But obviously the play-in's only been around for a few years, so
definitely first time in the play-in. If I remember right, Derrick Rose was I think Derrick Rose to the Bulls was I think that Chicago had 1.3% odds. Well, actually, now I want to. Are you looking it up, like the lowest odds to win the lottery? Okay, because I think it's Chicago. I could be wrong though. I know Anthony Bennett's draft was one of them.
So, the Mavs were at, let's see, what was their chance? Were 1.8% chance, and it appears that the lowest was Orlando. Oh, that's right, Orlando back in 1993.
Oh, Shaq.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because that was crazy. But shout out, I don't like giving him a shout out very often, but shout out at least that 30 for 30. Great one if you've never seen the Magic 30 for 30. Incredible. But yeah, that, and then Cleveland in 2014 at 1.7. Whoa! And then Chicago in 08 at 1.7 as well. That's crazy. Right. But yeah, then it's the Mavs.
It's 2014 one of the best entertainment drafts because that happened, and then I think that was the same night that Boston traded Paul Pierce and KG to Brooklyn.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Jeez. I think it was, at least.
That sounds right. I don't remember.
But just the draft lottery as a whole. Going from 14 all the way to the first pick, Atlanta will lose their draft pick because it didn't fall through the 1 through 12 spot, and San Antonio will actually get that pick. This won't be the last time you hear San Antonio's name. Sacramento will lose their pick to Atlanta. Funny enough, that was for the Kevin Huerter trade, if I remember correctly. So I'm assuming the Atlanta one was the DeJounte Murray trade.
Probably.
So Atlanta would end up getting back a pick. Basically, they actually moved up in a way in the draft by 1 pick.
That's crazy.
So they take Sacramento's pick at number 13. because of the Kevin Huerter trade from a couple years ago. Chicago back in the lottery, back in the teens, borderline teens of the lottery, because they never are good enough to be all the way down at the bottom of the first round, nor are they ever bad enough to be top 5 for some reason. But they'll be at 12. Portland got 11. Houston will get Phoenix's top 10 pick at number 10. Toronto at 9. Brooklyn at 8. Shout out Brooklyn for being able to keep their pick.
Wow, huge.
Sorry, I'm sad. I just want to have a little bit of fun with teams that I've benefited throughout the years. By the way, Brooklyn, if you want Jaylen Brown, you can have him.
That stuff.
If you want him, New Orleans drops 3 spots all the way down to 7 in terms of the predictions of the lottery, so they will have the 7th pick. Washington drops 4 spots down to the 6th pick. Utah, if I'm right, was the odds on. Well, I mean, I think it's the top 3 picks get the same odds, but was Utah the worst team in the league in terms of record this season?
Probably the Wizards, right?
Oh yeah, the Wizards.
Which that's crazy. They got 6. That is so tough.
they just are struggling. So real quick to repeat before we hit the top 4. 14 is San Antonio, 13 is Atlanta. Chicago has the 12th pick, 11th pick to Portland. Houston has the 10th pick, Toronto at 9, Brooklyn at 8, New Orleans at 7, Washington at 6, and Utah at 5. So the top 4 odds, or I guess the top 4 picks, were up between Charlotte, Philadelphia, San Antonio, and Dallas. 3 teams that already, before they even announced it, screamed rigged if they got the first overall pick. And then there's Charlotte. So you'd be like, oh, Charlotte's got to get a top 3 at least, right? They don't want to make it so obvious that they may or may have not have rigged this. Oh no, they give Charlotte ends up at 4. And you know what? If this is if this truly is what they say it is, and it's completely random, it's kind of just hilarious that it fell this way. But I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to believe. Philadelphia moves up 2 spots all the way to 3. They get to keep their pick. I don't remember. It would have been Oklahoma City that would have gotten their pick if it wasn't top 6.
Yeah. Thank goodness we've been saved. The demon Sam Presti does not get what he wants this time.
San Antonio moves up 6 spots to get the 2nd overall pick. So Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, and the crew are going to be able to get a top pick. Be interesting because I think Harper, I think, has been a big name in terms of the top couple picks, and he's kind of the same position as De'Aaron Fox, so we'll see what they do there. But Dallas moves all the way up to 10. I mean, all the way up to the 1st overall pick, moving up 10 spots. And like Hunter mentioned, they were in the play-in game, and they ended up getting the 1st pick, which doesn't does it bring a new perspective of what the play-in game really means if you can move all the way up to the 1st pick?
Yeah, that's some. Yeah, we got it, Adam. We got to fix that, man. There's no way. There's just no way.
But obviously, that means unless Nico pulls another one on us, that Cooper Flagg will be probably the number 1 overall pick and playing for the Dallas Mavericks next season.
Dude, I was saying in our group chat, if Nico is truly a man of his word, they need to draft. They need to draft VJ Edgecombe. All right, they have to. All right, they have. Let's just disregard the fact that Cooper Flagg might also be the best defender in the draft. We'll just get rid of that. All right, they have Anthony Davis, they have Derek Lively. Well, they need some perimeter defense, so they have to get somebody to do that, right?
Klay Thompson used to be good at defense, right?
Dude, I can barely walk. Are you kidding me? But yeah, dude, this draft is something. It's something. It had to be the Mavericks, the Spurs, and the 76ers. The 3, out of any 3 teams, had to be those 3 to get the top 3. We have stupid GM absolutely rigged Wemby future, and then the 76ers
The
get a top 3 pick,
76ers.
but before Joel Embiid makes an Eastern Conference Finals, by the way. I got to throw that in there.
No, it's the required top 3 pick for the 76ers every 3 to 5 years.
Every year. Yeah, it'll be another point guard that is, oh my gosh,
Ace
the
Bailey.
future. And then that
it would have been funny if they would have gotten the first pick, trying to see what they would do with Paul George. Because no way Paul George and Cooper Flagg would have been on the same team.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But yeah, I honestly haven't looked too deeply into this draft and seen what people think about this quality of class. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is the number 1 overall selection. Do you think it's a deep class?
Good class. Yes.
Okay.
I am intrigued. Like, especially like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, it gives me similar feelings to the Wemby draft, because it was like, hey, who's going to win the Wemby sweepstakes? But it's like, it doesn't mean like,
it doesn't mean you lost.
We'll hold our opinions about Scoot Henderson to ourselves, but like the consolation prize to getting 2nd overall was like, it was there. Like, it was still a big deal.
Shout out Dawson for picking Scoot Henderson the one rookie of the year. He was trying to be the only person that didn't take Wemby, and it wasn't just that he didn't win it; it's the fact that he was bad,
actually awful. But yeah, no, I've done a little bit of digging, just at the overall class. I like it. I think it's gonna be good. I think we're gonna have some names.
Where you got Samford from Iowa going?
Stop. Get that out of here. I swear. I again did another 2K sim, and he somehow went in the first round, and I thought I was gonna puke. I was like, you're actually kidding me. Who did this? But yeah, no, I think there's some good ones. I think especially like, I mean, one of the interesting one, I mean, just to give an idea to NBA draft just in general that makes the NBA really weird, is like, if you watch college basketball, you would think Walter Clayton Jr. surely is a top 5 pick. And let me tell you,
top 20.
No. Because of his performance, he might be a first round pick now, which is just crazy.
I saw that was one of the players for some reason. I've just been casually looking just to see where some of the bigger names in terms of like people that stood out in the tournament and all that. And I saw him like I didn't see anything of him getting picked in the top 20, but like I saw him move up to the first round. I was like, I don't even remember if I remember seeing him being picked at all heading into the year.
Yeah, no, he like wasn't picked, or like deep second round. Like another one, like Janai Broom, for example, second round pick probably. Which, like, again, Auburn kind of weird.
He doesn't stretch,
but still,
he doesn't stretch the floor as much.
Yeah, but it's like people really, really, really like their youth. And I mean, Cooper Flagg, amazing player, but like it's because he's a one and done guy that NBA GMs are all over it. But if you stay 4 years, count your days.
I would like to hope that NBA teams actually gave this guy a legit shot, but I have a very, very, very hard time to believe that DeAndre King wasn't good enough to make a roster and get minutes his first year, and the only reason he didn't make a roster was because of his age, because he was a transfer, sat out a year, so he was even older than what a normal senior was. And my opinion was like one of the more consistent guards and one of the last true point guards, because he's good at taking it to the hoop. He reminded me a lot of see, Magic is not a good comparison because Magic was flashy and all that, but like the way that he was able to drive it to the hoop, and he was a taller point guard, and being able to dish it as well, reminded me a lot of him. But because of his age, he didn't get that opportunity. Another person, I mean, I know we clown on Paul George, but he's pointed out that DeAndre Burton from Iowa State.
There's mini Zion.
Like Deontay Burton, sorry. Right? Deontay Burton.
Yep.
I'm
Deontay.
My brain is combining 10 years of Iowa State basketball into one for some names. But I think Paul George isn't the only one that has mentioned, like, if he was given a shot, how good he would have been.
Yeah.
And that's just 2 local 5-on-5 examples. So
yeah,
how many more players probably could have been like that just because of their age? And yeah, it's weird. I think Janai Broome would be a great pro, honestly, just an additional piece to a team that may need that extra defender or that extra length to get a rebound. He's not terrible either at distributing the ball as a post player. So
he could join your team, Brock. Second round pick.
Actually, is a probably good chance that he might, because that's probably a player they're looking to replace Al Horford. Let's be honest. And he can't shoot as good as Al does, but also I've seen a lot of NBA players who couldn't shoot the ball worth crap the first 10 years of their career, and all of a sudden age 33 shows up and they're like, you know what? I'm going to work on my shot now.
I feel like not running and just running to the 3-point line instead.
Like, Blake Griffin is one of the weirdest guys ever, because I swear for like the first 6-7 years of his career, like 2K like just gave him an F from 3. Like, we're not even gonna mess with this.
He's not shooting it. Are you kidding me?
And then all of a sudden he gets traded or moved on from the Clippers, and all of a sudden he's shooting threes and at a high clip.
Crazy.
But so that was a little bit of the lottery. We'll probably do some more like mock drafts, predictions, just overall analysis of the class, which, I mean, it sounds like Hunter has done a little bit of that already, and thinks that this might be a very good class in terms of potential. So we'll see how that works. Quick update on the Warriors game that is going on while we are recording here on a Monday. The Warriors are up by 2. 60-58 is the score heading into halftime. Julius Randle, 19 points. Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh my gosh.
Having a decent
Kuminga game. Oh no. It's happening.
Kevon Looney has 8 rebounds for them. And then, the how do I want to put this? The usual stat line from Draymond Green, I guess. I guess he has 8 points, so that shocks me a little more.
Dude, he only has 1 foul. That's not usual.
Don't even get me started with fouls, because then it starts making me think about players that complain too much about not getting fouls called on them, and then I start having PTSD. I guess we haven't talked much about the other series outside of the Celtics and Knicks. Pacers, Cavaliers. Pacers are up 3-1. Pacers destroyed Cleveland in Game 4 last night on Sunday, on Mother's Day. And I hope none of your moms are fans of the Cavaliers, because that is a terrible Mother's Day gift. I know you're not a big fan of the Pacers, but are they the best team in the East right now?
No, I refuse. They could be the best team in the NBA. They could have the best record. They could win 82 games, and I will stand here on my 2 feet doing God's work, telling you no. They're overrated and they're bad at basketball. They just found the Kansas City Devil Magic, so they're doing fine. And I hate it. It's the worst. I hate them. So I don't know who I hate more between the Pacers and the Cavs for making me so angry. It's like, wow, thank goodness. Like, at least we have the cat. Like, when the Bucks lost, I was like, wow, at least the Cleveland Cavaliers exist and will free me from this torture. No.
And what happened after that after they broke your heart?
You idiot, Hunter. No, the devil magic continues. Gross, man. I honestly, I was kind of hoping Dawson would be here, because I need to ask him on the Cleveland Cavaliers, between, like, we'll include coaching staff, but really just the head coach and the players. Who is the biggest loser for the Cleveland Cavaliers right now? Like, who hurts the most? Because I think there's 2 answers, personally.
Kenny Atkinson.
I think that's a third answer. Mostly because he was coach of the year. And, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of him. I'm just personal.
That's fair.
But
Because on one hand, you have Donovan Mitchell, who's averaging like a bajillion points, yet on Twitter is getting the Joel Embiid accusations because Buddy keeps getting the 1 seed in the West and the East and still can't make it to the finals. And then Ty Jerome is just watching his $80 to $100 million contract just whisk away from him.
Ty Jerome really thought he was going to be TJ McConnell this year.
Yeah, he told the Magic I'd be the best player on your team or whatever, and now is just straight doo-doo.
They sent him a text being like, "See you soon" with palm trees.
The black vans pulled up.
Yeah, I just can't believe that this team just. I mean, oh, sorry, wrong. I thought that was the Cavs. I meant to pull up a photo of this year's.
What do you
Cavs
mean?
team.
Isn't that the Cavs?
I see. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
No, it's just,
dude. At least they got beat by Braun. They're losing to Tyrese. They're not even losing to Tyrese because that guy sucks. They're losing to Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell. They're getting their bag packed by him. That is just so sad.
Overrate that.
Don't even. Gosh, dude. That dude is insufferable. Then he loses a game and refuses. No, I can't. Unavailable for the media. Oh, no. Gosh, dude. I can't. He is like the epitome of just any person that I despise. Like, what?
Who is he your least favorite athlete right now?
He has to be.
All the athletes.
Which is crazy. I was back in Iowa for a few days, and I even told my dad, I was like he is my least favorite athlete to come out of Iowa State, like by far. Like, it's not even close at this point. It is insane. And he just keeps getting worse.
You better hope he does not.
Dude, they're actually going to win the finals. They're actually going to win the finals, and I'm going to cry. There's nothing I can do about it. He'll have the same amount of titles as Giannis. There's nothing I can do about it.
Hey, I mean, he'd be closer to what JB said he was going to do with how many titles he was going to win in the first 7 years of his career.
He would be quite a bit closer.
But
yeah, man, that series is just crazy.
Is it over?
It's over. As soon as you see the Photoshop images of the acclaimed LeBron picture of ye olden times, as soon as you see another player's face photoshopped on there, it's over. It's so over. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, it's just rough. Gosh, that if this is really how it ends, I just want to point out that I called this before, like for months now. This may be the only take that I actually was really good. Like, I called this months in advance about the Cleveland Cavaliers being the frauds of the NBA.
Dawson's gonna track you down if you keep pulling that up. Be like, hey, get that out of here.
Well, let me see when they play next. They play tomorrow, I'm assuming. They
ain't showing up. Kidding me?
Well, yeah. Okay, so they play tomorrow. I want to know the if necessary games. Would they play Saturday? Oh, there are no games Saturday. I was gonna say it would be hilarious if they got eliminated during his graduation ceremony.
That would be
just be like, oof.
Just checking his phone the entire time. He gets up on stage and just blurts out the most explicit thing that comes to his head.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, but the Knicks did Knicks in 5. They chanted that at the end of the game. Boy. And part of me was like, man, you guys better close it out.
You better win.
Because your history of doing that stuff, not good.
Yeah.
And if you somehow blow this without Jayson Tatum on the court, and also you did this after Jayson Tatum tore his Achilles. Like, bro, what you doing? Like, we all know the only reason you're saying it now is because the best player on the court isn't even playing.
I had to wait. But yeah, do you obviously Ty Jerome will get a bag. I don't think. I mean, he could get a bag and stay in Cleveland. It's not going to be as big of a bag. Do you anticipate? And I'm not talking about Donovan Mitchell. I don't think that guy's leaving. Do you anticipate any moves for the Cavs coming up this offseason? Anybody? Not even necessarily like anybody that you think is for sure gone, but if you're running the team, who are you looking to see the market for?
I just don't. I don't know what the market is for him. I just don't like Jared Allen on that roster.
Yeah. He is like pretty. I mean, his contract is expensive by 2028, but like makes $20 million next year. That's pretty movable.
They're
currently.
Weird. They're just a weird team because like I never bought the idea that Evan Mobley could be like this unbelievable all-star. And maybe that's just me being dumb. And next year he'll be like averaging 25 and 12.
That'd be crazy.
Prove me wrong, Evan. But like he's okay. I'm sorry, but it's 2025. Max Strus cannot be your sixth highest leading scorer on your roster.
That guy has survived everything.
You know what the issue was for them? They traded my boy George.
That is where it all went wrong. I think you're onto something.
George Niang was the reason the Cavs were winning. He is the most winningest coach in the winningest coach player.
He is
in I don't know how many years.
That's a good point. Statistically they would be more likely to win if George Niang was still on the team.
By the trains of the property.
Overrate that.
By the trains of the property, George Niang on the Cavs equals championship. George Niang not on the Cavs equals 2015 Atlanta Hawks.
Means L. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I'm excited for after this finals gets over because I think we'll be able to do. I think we'll do 2 episodes previewing the offseason for both the Western Conference and Eastern Conference. And we can talk about some teams that we think people should keep an eye out for because I think there's a lot of Eastern Conference teams that are ready to make a move to take that next step to potentially contend. Especially if Boston
looks.
Yeah, if Boston, if Tatum's out next year, which I mean, I feel like the Arizona Cardinals have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl than Jayson Tatum playing a minute of NBA basketball next year. But if Tatum's out, this was Cleveland's one chance. I'm sorry. I don't think Cleveland, unless maybe they're a team that makes this move. But no offense, who knows what Milwaukee's going to do? Indiana, I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do. But like the Magic are like kind of just sitting there. I feel like they're trying to put something together. Yeah. I think they have pieces. Detroit has pieces. I just don't know if they will be able to get put together in time for it to matter for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the Hornets with the top 4 picks. So there's a lot of people in the West. Heck, the Hawks could be a team that a lot of people should be looking out for to make a move this offseason, whether it's them exploding their roster and starting completely over, or can they pull something off and all of a sudden they're in contendership. So I don't know. Yeah. By the way, I think, George Niang was 89 and 44 as a Cleveland Cavalier.
Dang. They could be up like 3-1 right now. Then they would lose game 5, and then they'd win game 6. Statistically. Yep. But here we are. I'm never going to cheer for you again, Cleveland. I'm sorry.
I never have. They're guilty by association of the 3rd greatest player of all time.
I see. I see. I don't remember MJ playing for him. How the heck? Dude,
I was talking about Kyrie.
Shout out MJ. He's going to be a part of the NBC crew when the NBA is on NBC.
Like legit?
Not full time, but he will have.
But he's going to be on TV.
Yep,
giving analysis.
They brought him out. I'm so excited.
I need to know the bag. I need to know the bag he got.
Yeah, they're probably paying him like crazy. But like, imagine watching like a James Harden just absolute stinker, and then Michael Jordan is on the halftime show. No, that will be hilarious. Oh, well, yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. But it'll be hilarious
when the Lakers collapse again because of Bronny, Luka, and or LeBron.
Oh,
not necessarily in that order, but just in general. You bet your butt I'm tuning into that.
Not the Bronny throw in. My God, how could you?
Your Prince.
My Pookie. My Pookie Jr.
It's a little weird because I think he's younger than you, but
stop. Stop. Oh man. I need Adam Silver to fix this league. This is getting way too out of hand for me. Between the Pacers doing unspeakable things to the Mavs somehow getting the first pick at 1.8% odds, something needs to be done, Adam. Make it happen.
What's wrong with what's wrong with the Pacers winning a championship?
Everything. Do
you have any wise words of wisdom that you want to give out?
No. All right. I just please pray for the Pacers losing. Like, I can't do this anymore. This is getting out of hand. But yeah, I think my wise words again. Read your media sources, people. If you see Giannis leaving and it's not coming from his own mouth, chances are not happening. Just a thought. Just a thought. I have a strong time believing that Shams has access to Giannis directly. Because Giannis, I don't even think has told anybody what he's doing. Except for his yearly meeting with the Bucks to basically talk about, hey, I kind of want to win. Can you please bring in guys that aren't over the age of 42 to come compete for a basketball championship? Thank you. And then the Bucks go, yeah, we'll think about that, and then bring in Joe Ingles because he's Jingles.
Do you think Giannis is back next year?
I feel like I would lean to him staying because there's been no direct indication of him desiring to leave. If he were to ask to leave, I can't say I'd blame him. I would hope for the best for him and put him in the best situation possible. But I think, especially if there's one thing that if Giannis is a man of his word, which he very much has been for his entire career, I have a hard time seeing Giannis as the kind of guy who would leave Dame in the situation that Dame is in.
Oh my God, I didn't even think. I always forget about Dame.
Yeah. So yeah, we're taking a gap year. We're throwing in the towel. We're not competing next year. We're tanking for AJ Dybantsta, and we're gonna bring him in with the imaginary pick that we don't have.
You don't want Boozer?
No.
You don't want one of the Boozers? You can have both of the Boozers.
Even though AJ is definitely going to Utah because the NIL is crooked.
Do you want to see a really cursed AI image?
Oh boy,
because it's so bad. But like I put it together in like 2 seconds thanks to that Twitter premium thing that we have.
Oh yes.
Oh, not this. Sorry.
Oh no. Yeah, that's the closest I'll ever get to that trophy. That fake.
I'm not sure who these players are in the background, but
is that like Caitlin Clark?
The guy on the right looks like he's in his 60s.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, the trophy is like broken. So messed up. The fact though that they know that the Motorola patches on their jerseys is kind of hilarious. Also, the opponents have 3 different styles of jerseys, 3 different names as well. So who knows who this AI image of Tyrese winning an NBA championship thinks is going to be in
that's something.
Their opponents, but
that's cursed.
Yeah, sad day for me. Jayson Tatum basically going to probably be out for the rest of this series, potentially next year, depending on what the official word is on his injury. So next time that we record, it'll probably be sometime next week. There's a good chance that New York moves on, and also Indiana, and potentially the Thunder. The Thunder are tied though 2-2, so we'll say it's been a little more competitive than I thought that series was going to be. And the Warriors are competing to tie it up at 2-2. They're up, as we're recording here, 66-64 with 9 minutes left in the third. So maybe we're talking about a couple Game 7s in the Western Conference while the Eastern Conference is getting ready for their conference finals. So
crazy.
For Hunter Rose, I'm Brock Bierman. We're the Hardwood Convos crew. We'll be back next week for some more NBA hoops talk. Hopefully we're talking less about terrible injuries that are ruining futures of teams and more about the amazing basketball that we've been able to see. But we'll see. So enjoy the games, and we'll see you next week.